Hello and welcome to Ice Dice. Today we have a review edition where we're reviewing Power Grid Deluxe. It's from Rio Grande Games, plays 2 to 6 players, and it's roughly a 2-hour game. The theme of the game is that you're an electric company trying to power cities, and the main mechanics are auction and network building. If you're not familiar with Power Grid, I'm just going to briefly describe how it works. The first thing that happens is that you have an auction for power plants. The various power plants might be powered by coal, they might be powered by oil, or they might be free, the wind power. So you'll have an auction and everyone can buy a power plant. After that, what you'll do is you will buy resources for those power plants. You'll buy your coal, you'll buy your oil, you'll buy your natural gas in this game. Then you'll build cities out on the map. And that is a big part of the game. What it is you put a city down, and then once you've built one city, you can build the adjacent cities, but you have to pay a connection cost, and the cost can vary. It might be as little as 0, there's actually some that are 0, or it might be as much as 25. So you're trying to build a network. Then what you do is you spend the resources you have in your power plants to power those cities. Based on how many cities you power, you earn some money. That's pretty much Power Grid in a nutshell. So this is the Deluxe edition though. One of the things that changed about it is the map. In the original game it was United States on one side and Germany on the other, and this is North America on one side and Europe on the other. But it's more than just that. Let's take what do you think about these boards? Do you think the board is better than the old one?
The original board, yeah, it's cleaner. It's obviously the reason they came out with the Deluxe edition, it was kind of the 10-year anniversary, and Friedman Freeze, the designer, being who he is, he wanted to tweak it a little bit, but graphic design has come a little bit of ways in 10 years, so he had this nice clean design that he wanted to implement that follows the thinking of the game. And so I guess the main operative word, adjective to use on the design of the game versus the original is cleaner.
It is cleaner. Yeah, and it's also bigger. This is the original version. I put the original version of the map literally on top of the new version, and then I added that red border just to make it stand out. But you can see it's quite a bit bigger. It also gives you it's like you say, it's cleaner. The original, I don't think the original looks bad. I think it looks okay, but yeah, if you look at the Deluxe version, it's a little bit easier to read things. It's a little bit cleaner and clearer on what's going on. Let's see. Oh, the pieces. Oh, this is probably the biggest part of the upgrade. From left to right here, what you see, the original compared to the Deluxe, is the city markers to show what city you've been in, oil, uranium for nuclear power plants, coal, and the yellow ones in the original were garbage, but now they've changed to a natural gas. So this is obviously an improvement, I would say.
Oh, but for one tiny little component, look to your lower left. Those power plants don't look like anything They look like chunky maps of Australia. I don't know what they look like. They do not look like power plants.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be power plants. They're supposed to be generators. Wow. The problem is there is no iconic image of a generator that the general public has in their mind, and when they see it, when it's put down to just this simplistic shape, oh, that's a generator. Because that is, people pick it up and go, what's this? Oh, well, it's a generator. It's not bad. It's functional, and it is better than the house.
That is from a most popular board game of all time, Monopoly, the little Monopoly houses. But yeah, it's better than that. But yeah, I guess you're right. What's a power generator look like? I don't know, but I don't know.
No, I agree with you because it's something every time people always comment on it. It's like, what is this? maybe and here I am being critical, but I don't have a better idea for them.
I don't have a better idea for a power generator.
So, okay, let's see the original power plant cards versus the deluxe version. I do think functionally one of the things they did is the background color of each of the new ones, the deluxe version, tells you the kind of resources it takes to run that power plant. But I think that's good, and I think the designs are good, but I didn't dislike the original ones. I think that original artwork is pretty good. And it does seem to me the original artwork was a, sort of like modern to just slightly in the past, whereas the new ones kind of look futuristic.
Yeah, it was like a pop art, kind of an Andy Warhol kind of a, modern society, the classic. This is a picture of modern society, and this is coal burning because it's got smoke coming out. Thing like, oh, okay, I see, that makes sense to me. And the green one looks, it's all happy, and there's some generators that looks all happy. But yeah, the real improvement is the instantly when you see if you look at your screen there, the 17 is like, oh, that's a green thing because it's green and it doesn't require any resources. Oh, that's easy. I know what resources to buy. I don't have to buy resources for that one. And the red one, you buy uranium. It's easy peasy.
Yeah, they did have that in the original, but it was just the band across the bottom. This, by making the whole card that way, it's not so much that I can tell easily what I have, it's that I can look across the table and I can easily see, oh man, they've got 3 coal plants.
And that is a thing that you will have to do in this game to do well.
So, but I think it's an improvement overall.
It is improvement.
Let's see what's next here. Oh, the money. Paper money is never good.
Paper money is never, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the first game where everybody said, hey, do you own poker chips? Because you need to own poker chips because we need to play this game, was Power Grid. You don't play Power. You say, oh, you want to play Power Grid? Yeah, I'll play Power Grid. You got poker chips? They go, no. And they go, I'll pass. I literally passed on games of Power Grid because the guy didn't have poker chips.
In part because you handle the money a lot in this game. You're buying power plants, you're buying resources, you're earning income, you're spending money to put down. I mean, you're just constantly passing money around, and paper money doesn't work that well. I do think these plastic chips are an improvement, but I still, if I'm playing in my house and I have my poker chips, I'm still playing with my poker chips. Because these plastic ones are okay. Better than plastic, but not a lot. They don't stack. They're single-sided. They're light and flimsy. I almost would rather they'd gone with cardboard tokens than these plastic ones. So it's an improvement, but not that keen on them.
Just as with the manual dexterity thing with dice, it's rewarding to physically hold dice in your hand and roll them. It is physically rewarding to have poker chips, and this game rewards and warrants a lot of thinking. So just like in the poker tournaments thing, you got to fiddling your chips help you think. It just does.
So yeah, I mean it's an improvement, but I'm not all that excited about what they have. So the gameplay. The gameplay, they do have a couple twists on this. On the United States map, they have a discount marker. And what you do is you put it on the lowest valued power plant, and then that one is now a minimum bid of 1 instead of its printed value. I like that. It doesn't come into play that often, but there are times where it's significant. Where, let's say it's a 20 value plant, I thought before I played it would be that, oh, well, whoever's last is just going to buy the bottom one for a 1. But no, it gets to a point where a 20 value plant, well, let's see if I can get it for 15. That kind of thing. So play. But I think it improves the game. In fact, I might even consider playing if I was playing the original version, I might consider adding that rule to it. What do you think of that rule?
Yeah, it rewards not sitting on your hands power plant. Their power plant, for those of us who've played it these last 10 years on a regular basis, there are times when you have to tell yourself in your head, sit on your hands during the power plant bidding, because you cannot keep buying. You're straight up running out of money. There's times to buy, there's time not to buy, and that kind of becomes a collective, right? Everybody's sitting on their hands in a power plant. It kind of stagnates, and this game, obviously, Friedman thought, oh, that's a thing. Now he knew that was a thing. Here, I'll put this mechanic, and now it's not a thing. So kudos to him.
It does. It improves it. The Europe side of the map, what they do is normally you have 4 power plants in the current market that you can put up for auction, and then 4 in the future. And then in the Europe side of this map, they have 5 in the future market. I've not played that side of the map. I've not played those rules, but I just, in pure speculating, have a hard time seeing how that's going to have as significant an impact on the game as this minimum bid marker.
Well, this is the other part of this game. The reason that it got one of the nicknames that's popular on the internet, that this is called the Spreadsheet the Board game, is it rewards excessive thinking. It's not AP per se, but just basically, boy, you put a lot of thought into this. There's a little thing you come up. It's not like Rosenberg or the puzzle, but you put a thought into this. You could do some speculation and go, okay, because I'm going to get this much income. Okay, this might have to be a thing. So I think that would reward somebody who's really good at speculation on the Europe side. But maybe I don't know.
Just
things happen.
It's just the future market is just the future. You don't know when those things are going to drop. So I don't know. So overall, what do you think about both Power Grid and this deluxe version of this game?
Well, Power Grid's a perennial favorite. I can be easily talked into it. It's not like my first thing I pull up Power Grid and start running about the room like I did back 10 years ago when it was the hottest thing in the world. But people, hey, what do you want to play? People stop Power Grid. I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, because it's 2 hours and it kind of depends on people. I'll play with new people too, but yeah, it's a go-to, especially with especially if they have the new maps that I haven't played before. It's always fun to play with a new map because certain challenges occur. But yeah, this is a worthy installment in the series.
So Power Grid, I was leery to play that game when it first came out because one of the very first games or events I went to where that game was being played, I saw somebody with a calculator, and I'm like, I don't want to play a game that requires a calculator. But then I eventually did play it and go, you don't need a calculator. It's just adding, you know. I mean, maybe there are people that it's not necessarily that they need it, they find it helpful, but yeah, it's not, the math is not that bad. It's a bunch of adding and things like that. If you don't like adding, you're not going to like this game. Once I played it, I agree that it is a classic game. I actually use this as somewhat of a gateway game. Not like for a family level gateway game, but I have friends that I call semi-gamers, and that they're not into gaming, but that, you know, like we'll have a long weekend somewhere that I can get them to play games. And this is a game that I've had success with. There's a couple reasons for that. One is that it's open information, so they don't have to, you can always help them. You can say, well, look, you have this, if you look there, there's this, and that's helpful to get people into the game. The other thing is if you have experienced players, they can guide the game. They're the ones managing the power plant auctions and the resource and all that thing, so they just have to you just have to let them know, and that's good for people, is because then they can sit down, and even though running it has a little bit of complexity, it works fine if they don't participate in that. And then once people do play it, they start to see, that by the end of the game, they're saying, oh, I see what I'm trying to do. I see what I'm trying to do. The end of the game sometimes catches them by surprise about that it's not how many you've built, it's how cities you've built, it's how many you've powered. But overall, I mean, it's not like my favorite game, but I bought this. I like this, and it's pretty good. And I do think the deluxe version is an improvement. At this point, because I don't play Power Grid very much, and I haven't played that many of the other maps, maybe 3 other maps besides the base one, I'll keep this around, and this is probably what I'm going to play just because it is a better version of it for me. So I rank this, I'm tempted to say love it, but I'm just going to put like it.
I like it as well. I think it is more balanced than the original, but given the amount of tweaking that Friedman Freeze did, I was expecting a lot more experience. It was just like a slightly augmented version of the original Power Grid. I thought it would be kind of knock me for a loop and like, oh, no, I fell in love with Power Grid all over again, and it wasn't that for me. So it's alike.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you're right. What it is tweaked. The game's been played a lot. I mean, you've been thousands and thousands of people play that game and express their opinions about that game. And this, they've tweaked it. Besides, they've improved the components and they've tweaked it. They've balanced the power plants. They've balanced the connection cost. Yeah, so both like it.
Like it.
That's fine. Okay, well that's it for this review edition of Power Grid Deluxe. See you next time.
Auf Wiedersehen!